Indahnya negeri ini dengan hasil bumi yang melimpah. Dari hasil bumi, kita bertransaksi. Bertransaksi, jual, dan beli. Pasar adalah tempat kita berbagi rezeki. Tempat terjadinya denyut ekonomi. Penuh dengan informasi dan silaturahmi. Hasilnya bisa kita nikmati. Kesejahteraan masyarakat harus didukung keuangan yang sehat. Karena itu, perbankan sangat penting bagi industri keuangan nasional. Kepercayaan nasabah merupakan faktor utama dalam industri perbankan. Melalui fungsi intermediasi perbankan yang mendukung pembangunan nasional, dari hulu hingga hilir, ke seluruh lini, hingga ke pelosok negeri, LPS hadir sebagai lembaga yang melindungi nasabah dan mendukung stabilitas sistem perbankan melalui program penjaminan dan resolusi. LPS turut serta memelihara stabilitas perbankan dalam pembangunan nasional demi kesejahteraan Indonesia di masa yang akan datang. Dari kita, untuk kita. LPS, aman, tenang, pasti.
Miss Dewi, you are muted.
Okay, hi everyone. So sorry about that. I was muted, but now I'm ready. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon here in Jakarta, maybe good evening or good morning, wherever you are. We have an online session today, an exciting one. This event is held for the Temu Pendidik Nusantara yang ke-9, or the 9th Nusantara Conference for Educators. I hope you're all healthy and ready to learn and get a lot of insights from our two speakers today. Maybe you just finish with your classes for today, or you're already at home. So sit back, relax, get your tea maybe, and get your notes and get ready to be enlightened. Over here, I have some notes here that Temu Pendidik Nusantara, this event is held by Yayasan Guru Belajar and in collaboration with Cerita Guru Belajar, Kampus Guru Cikal, Pemimpin Merdeka, dan Teach First Indonesia. And also I would like to say thank you so much for our generous sponsor from Lembaga Penjamin Simpanan or LPS, and then from Wardah, and then from NutriFood. Hello, over here I have audience already. Good afternoon, Pa JC, and I think more people is already on our session. Yeah, let's have a look here. Let me introduce myself first here. I don't have a lot of time before our speaker time to present. So my name is Dewi. I'm going to be your moderator. I'm here with Chris. He's going to make sure that our session this afternoon will be smooth. And we have two speakers here. The first one is Mr. Muhammad Adlan. He is a Japanese language teacher in SMK Bukit Sentosa, Rawang, Selangor, Malaysia. If you are Indonesian, SMK here is not Sekolah Menengah Kejuruan, but it's an abbreviation of Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan. Malaysia. His school has more than 2,000 students, so it's a big school, and he has been teaching there for years. He is a Google for Education certified trainer, Microsoft certified, and also an Apple teacher. His ICT skill is already a guarantee for his good teaching in the classroom. Our second speaker will be Ms. Randha. And Ms. Randha is a math teacher from SMAN 1 Karangkobar in Central Java. And then she's very interested in researching and applying the differentiated learning in her class. And she's granted the first winner of Southeast Asian Mathematics Teaching and Learning Model, Sam Ratulangi Awards in 2021. Congrats for that, Ms. Randha. And she's also awarded Kartini Pendidikan Jawa Tengah 2022. It's just very recent. And considering and to acknowledge her innovation and performance in the education field. Over the past few years, she's also collaborated with many educational bodies to present her papers in including national and international seminars. So there's no doubt that we are going to learn so much from our two speakers. I think, let me just check. This year's Temu Pendidik Nusantara's theme is Kurikulum yang Memberdayakan Konteks, or Curriculum that Empowers Context. And during the presentation later, please feel free to take a screenshot, or later on, maybe you want to quote some exciting parts of the session and then share them with the social media. It would be great if you can use the hashtag bergerak untuk berdampak or belajar di TPN 9, and also mentioning the Instagram account of Temu Pendidik Nusantara and Teach First Indonesia. I want to say hi first to Pak Prihatin lagi, hold on, that's not your real name, right? Bapak, thank you for coming to our session. It would be great if you can also share your real name over there so I can address you properly. And then also welcome Ibu Lisa, welcome Ibu Patricia. Without further ado, I think I will give the time to Mr. Adlan to start his presentation.
Baik, Assalamualaikum, salam siang, selamat petang, good afternoon everybody, wherever you are. So my name is Muhammad Adlan bin Muhammad Sharifuddin. I'm a Japanese language teacher is SMK Bukit Sentosa, Rawang, Selangor, Malaysia. So on the screen is the QR code to my profiles, so you could just scan to see who am I. So today I'll be I'll be talking about using smart TV in teaching Japanese language. Okay, so well, let's learn something. First, I'll just give the abstract of what I'm talking about. First, the scenario. Teaching Japanese as a foreign language in secondary school is not an easy task for non-native teachers. I'm not a Japanese teacher, not a Japanese origin. So a lot of non-structured teaching needs occur during the class. So students need that pop up during the class. Those post-COVID teachings need to embed the experience of using online teaching in a face-to-face classroom. With the help of smart TV, teachers could embed the technology and use multiple contents from the internet to help students learn the Japanese language better. So this session will portray how I use smart TV to help me teach Japanese language in SMK, Bukit Sentosa, Rawang, Selangor, Malaysia. Okay. So the introduction. We all have lived in the pandemic COVID-19 era, which has forced us teachers to teach virtually. So most teachers has faced a hard time learning how to teach online. We start from zero, barely zero, and students also being forced to learn by using online technology. So some use handphones, some use tablets instead of online gaming or social media. So that's the scenario from the COVID era. We were locked in our home and do the teaching, do the learning. So how about post-COVID era? So in Malaysia, teachers and students come back to school. Now we are doing face-to-face class. Some teachers return to pre-COVID era of teaching. They bring books and chalk and talk. And in Malaysia, students are not allowed to bring phone to school. It's prohibited. No phone at school. So students do not have gadget in school. How do they access the internet? How do they access the world without the phone? And some teachers do not use even laptop or gadget in school to teach. They just use textbooks or maybe printed materials or whatsoever. So what is happening is killing all the knowledge that we have learned during the pandemic era. And most of teachers are abandoning. They put aside all the technology that they have used or learned. And the students also, they barely learn using the online or phone or any gadgets that they have. So what I did first, I'm an iPad user, so I have my iPad here. So I bring iPad to school and to everywhere. So as a teacher, I could do almost of my tasks everywhere. I went at the canteen, everywhere. And I have my iPhone, and I started with that. So I think, what if I buy with my own money a Bluetooth speaker, so I could bring audio sound to the class into the class, and then I bought one smart TV. So this is the smart TV. So I bought one portable TV rack to put the TV on, and I bought Apple TV device. So this is you could see on the screen, bottom middle. So that's the Apple TV device. So I bought all this with my own money without any sponsor from school or government, just to teach the students. Okay. So voila, I start using smart TV in my class in teaching Japanese language. It's cost me a lot, but well, because we teachers are patient, we have passionate to teach the students, and if it improve our class, so why not we spend some money there. And in my school, I have one room, Japanese language room. It is a language room, but mostly used for Japanese language. And the room is locked, and it's safe to put the device here. So, well, we are talking about smart TV. So let's think, what does smart TV offer? First, multimedia. Using smart TV, we have audio, and we have video, and we could display picture. So students could listen to audios and musics. They could watch videos or any programs, and they could see the pictures or photos. Okay. Then this is quite technical. So what I did is I bring internet into my classroom. So I use my iPhone. Okay. So I use my personal hotspot. Luckily, I subscribe to unlimited data. Then I connect to my iPads and MacBooks and everything, my smart TV. Okay, so I bring the internet. Then in Malaysia, we have e-textbook. So the physical textbook, okay, we have physical textbook. We also have the e-version. So I use my iPad, download the e-textbook, and then I display to the smart TV using Apple TV adapter. So Apple TV is an adapter. It's not a TV, it's some sort of adapter. So I bring YouTube into my class. YouTube, we could listen to audios and watch videos. So I use my iPad or iPhone or MacBook or in Apple TV, YouTube apps to bring the YouTube into the class. Okay, so now I have internet, I have YouTube. I bring news and movies and documentaries into my class. So I bring audios and movies, videos into my class using Apple TV Plus. It's an app, Apple TV Plus, from Apple TV. So I use IPTV. It's an app in. I bought it, so I put it in my iPad, MacBook, Apple, so I could display it to students. Okay, then I bring podcast. Okay, podcast is talking or teaching using sound, and we have podcast using video in my iPhone, iPad, MacBook, Apple TV, and I bring website. So website is a multimedia. We have pictures, photos, audios, and videos by using browser, Safari browser in iPad and MacBook. So I bring all this in my classroom, plus ebook. So students only have one textbook. So I like to read books. So I bring what I read, what books I like, and what books I have. I bought an ebook or I downloaded, and I bring them into the class, mostly PDF. And I bring audio or CD or language audio into the class. So students now could listen to authentic Japanese speaking or pronunciation. So, well, that's what the combination of smart TV plus Apple environment brings into my class. Okay, so using smart TV in teaching Japanese language, how do I use all that? How do I bring all that and use them in class? First, I bring internet. So using the internet, I can show them how real Japanese is used. So I'm reasoning. So we are reasoning why we bring smart TV into our class. So I can show how real Japanese is being used, is being taught, is how people speak the language. I expose students to self-learning using internet. So they used to learn using their device. Now they can self-search and self-learn using their own device at home with things, the internet that I show to them in the classroom. And I share learning materials with students. So I say to them, so this is one learning material. So at home, you could open this website and learn. Okay. So e-textbook. Okay, students have textbook, but how do we portray, we display the textbook in front of the students in the classroom? So maybe some have LCDs. Okay, so I don't use LCDs here, but LCD is a good beginning. So I use smart TV. Okay, it's a normal Android TV or whatever TV that could have HDMI port, so we can connect with internet or with Apple TV. So now I could display the textbook in front of the students. Now they see what I see. I see what they see in the book, and when we language we deals with text, so I can use the time which we teachers frequently write on the whiteboard or blackboard. Now less whiteboard writing, and using the textbook I could annotate, I could write on the e-textbook and point here and there, and zoom in and zoom out to maintain students focus. Okay, so that's great to bring e-textbook. If you don't have e-textbook, just use your smartphone, snap the photo of the page and display it. It's very useful. And by using YouTube, by bringing YouTube, I bring the students, I show the students Japanese songs for kids. Well, because they start learning Japanese from Form 1, 13 years old. So, okay, songs for kids are very helpful. So they like the songs. Okay, most of us know Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. We sing that songs. What about we bring that song in Japanese language? So now the students could learn from the YouTube. And in the YouTube, you could find online learning channels for Japanese language or anything, and online influencers for that particular subject. So I suggest this channel and this person for my students to learn. And also online learning materials. Maybe it's not song, maybe it's just one teacher speaking or teaching about something here and there, or maybe it's just advertisement or whatever that could be used to enhance students' learning. Okay, so when I bring news, movies, and documentaries, I portray the students real time Japanese channels and television using IPTVs or Apple TV Plus channels. Okay, so when I see they maybe to attract students interest or to tackle their motivation, okay, just take 2 minutes. Let's see, let's watch this news in Japanese from Japanese from Japan's television's channel, or maybe some uh, movies dubbed in Japanese. So they know this European or American film, but they listen the sound, the voice, the talking in Japanese with maybe Malay or English subtitles. And then I introduce them what to watch and how to watch. So maybe they listen to one phrase and they want to uh, learn that kind of speaking, that the phrase that being spoke in the news or movies, documentaries, they can pause and rewind and listen again. So I teach them how to use the materials. And I bring podcasts into my class. So podcasts, some about learning, some about news, some about specific or certain people talking about their interests. So I teach them how to search for that kind of materials and how to listen, when to listen. Okay, because students are very busy. So my style of learning, I use unconscious mind of learning. Okay, so by bringing website, I bring to them online newspaper. When we learn about some word or some uh, phrase, we go to the website and newspaper to see how it is being used, okay, in real time. So online dictionary and the real usage of word and language. Also ebook, we have a lot of ebooks. So let show them something apart from their textbook. Okay, audio, CD, and language file. So a special note on Apple ecosystem. So using iPad, I can move around freely and unwired, so I can display almost everything students activity, their books or their face or whatever. And Apple TV device is very useful to make the iPad and phone wireless. Okay, so the feedback, students love the songs, the videos. Okay, I skip this. And which part they love the videos and the listenings. They love to listen to language. And their feedback about the class after I used Smart TV, the class became very interesting to them. So this uh, enhanced students' motivation to learn and their exposure to the Japanese language, and make them want to learn more and more. So that's all for now. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. Back to the moderator, Bu Dewi.
So the second speaker would be Ms. Randha, and Ms. Randha is going to talk about differentiated learning. Welcome, Ms. Randha.
Let me choose my screen first. Okay. Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Randha Nurlianadewi, and I'm here to present my perspectives about engaging students with various learning styles using differentiated instruction. Now we know that facilitating the learning process is the primary aim of teaching, and understanding the learning behavior of students is considered to be a part of this process. Therefore, the concept of learning styles has become a popular topic in recent literature, with many theories about learning styles put forward to better understand the dynamic process of learning. And the learning styles refers to an individual's preferred way of processing new information for efficient learning. And Rita Chen here, as right, described the concept of learning style as a unique way developed by students when he or she was learning new and difficult knowledge. And learning style is about how students learn rather than what they learned. Their learning process is different for each individual, even in the same educational environment. Learning does not occur in all students at the same level and quality. We know that research has shown that individuals exhibit different approaches in the learning process, and a single strategy or approach was unable to provide optimal learning condition for all individuals. This may be related to students' different backgrounds, strengths, weaknesses, interests, ambitions, or level of motivation and approaches of studying. To improve education, we as a teacher should become more aware of these diverse approaches. Learning styles may be useful for us to help students, and we as a teacher could understand how to improve the way we learn and the way we teach, respectively. And now, how can we determine students' learning style? I personally here using a test set from the memletics.com. Maybe the audience could type it on the Google, and this is how we could determine students' learning styles. It provides information about their specific preferences. Understanding learning styles can make it easier for us to create or modify or develop more efficient curriculum and educational programs. It can also encourage students' participation in this program and also motivate them to gain professional knowledge. Therefore, the determining learning style is quite valuable in order to achieve more effective learning. Here we could see that aiming for fidelity to a model is needed. Few maybe would argue that opportunity in life is strongly connected with educational opportunity. However, we have often misconstrued the notion of equal access to education to mean that all students should receive precisely the same pacing, the same resources, and the same instruction. The result of this is a one-size-fits-all education system. And here, the differentiated instruction recognizes that students are not the same and that access to equal education necessarily means that given a certain goal, each student should be provided resources, instruction, and support system. And perhaps we have a few common misunderstanding here. And the first misunderstanding is the differentiation is a set of instructional strategies. The teacher should do this first, and the teacher should do this after that. But, however, in the reality, the differentiation is a philosophy. It is a way of thinking about teaching and learning, but it is in fact a set of principles. This is not just about how we do the learning process, but this is how we think about how we teach. And the second misunderstanding is, I'm sorry, here. The second misunderstanding is it is adequate for a district or school leader or professional developers to tell or even show teachers how to differentiate instruction effectively. Perhaps they will say, here is the strategy successful using in that school. We have to adapt it. Uh, we have to do it in our school. We have to implement this in our classroom. But however, the reality is learning to differentiate instruction well requires rethinking one's classroom practices and results from ongoing process of trial. We need to do reflection and adjust it into our classroom. So perhaps we could copy from the differentiate instruction in other classroom, but first we as a teacher need to do the process of trial, need to do the reflection and adjust it so that it would be more suitable for our classroom. And the third misunderstanding is differentiation is something a teacher does or doesn't do, as in I already do that, or I tell our teacher that they already differentiate instruction. However, the reality is most teachers who remain in the classroom for longer than a day do pay attention to students' variation and respond to it in some way, especially with students who can written order in the classroom. Maybe here you as a teacher may realize that we as a teacher recognize the most the students that threat our classroom. So perhaps the students who are most loudly in the class, the students who are most active in the class, and that's those we give them the most attention. However, very few teachers proactively plan instruction to consistently address students' difference in readiness, interest, and learning profiles. And here in differentiative instruction, we as a teacher need to arrange some a hypothetical learning trajectory to prevent or to adapt the student response in our classroom. And differentiation can be accurately described as classroom practice with a balanced emphasis on individual students and course content. In other words, in an effectively differentiated classroom, it is understood that first, students differ as learners in terms of their background experience, their culture, their language, their gender, and of course, their learning styles. Here, uh, we as a teacher should understand that their interest, their readiness, their modes of learning is varied due to their background experience, and we should differ also their self-awareness as a learner, their confidence as a learner, and their independence as a learner, and a host of other ways. And differences profoundly impact also on how students learn and the nature of scaffolding they will need at various points in the learning process. Teachers have a responsibility to ensure that all of their students master important contents. Teachers also have to make specific and continually evolving plans to connect each learner with the key contents. And the last is teachers are required to understand the nature of each of their students, in addition to the nature of the content they teach. A flexible approach to teaching makes room for student variance. And at the core of the classroom practice of differentiation is the modification of four curriculum-related elements. There are content, process, product, and effect, which it will be affect based on the three categories, readiness, interest, and learning profile. We will talk about it later. And the first is the content. The content is the knowledge, the understanding, and the skills we want students to learn. During the differentiation, we emphasize the methods that students use to assess the key content. There are instances, however, when some students need to go back to prerequisite content in order to move ahead, when advanced learner needs to move ahead before their classmates are ready to do so. And even student individualized education programs direct to the teacher to change the content itself. And the second element is process. It is how our students come to understand or make sense of the content. Relearning of the sort that enables students to retain, to apply and transfer content has to happen in students, not to them. However, the word process is often used as a synonym for activities, but actually activities can be misaligned with content goals and fail to require students to think through, to grapple with, or use essential knowledge, understanding, and skills. Therefore, this is wise to substitute the term sense-making activities to emphasize that what we ask students to do in the name of learning or practice should help them own the content, see how it makes sense, and realize how it will be useful in the world outside in the classroom. And the third element is product. It is how students demonstrate what they have come to know, understand, and are able to do after an extended period of learning. A product is not something students generate a single lesson or as a result of an activity or two. Rather, it could be a rich culminating assessment, rather cause on students to apply and extend what they have learned over a period of time, not only a single time, not only on a single activity. And the last element is affect. It is how students' emotions and feelings impact their learning. Emotions and feeling could originate in the brain based on the past experience and the reaction to the current experience. So they can impact our motivation to learn, our ability to work with others, and our self-concept as a learner. In that way, affect is integral to rather than apart from curriculum. When a student have a positive effect regarding learning and himself or herself as a learner, it opens the door to academic growth. Conversely, a student's negative effect regarding learning or his or her own abilities as a learner shuts the door. So now we have to see the student need and variance affected by the differentiation. The first is the readiness. This is a student's current proximity to specified knowledge, understanding, and skills. It is important to keep in mind that readiness is not a synonym for ability, and the two terms should not be used interchangeably. And the second is the interest. This is what that which engage the attention, curiosity, or involvement of the students. Student interest is tied directly to students' motivation to learn. When student is interested in or engaged, the motivation to learn is heightened and the learning is enhanced. Personal interests are typically linked to a student's strength, culture, context, and personal experience. And the last affected by differentiation is the learning process. This is a preference or for taking in, exploring, or expressing the content. And now, how would we different the learning? The first is we could different on the content. We could different on we as a teacher could do the differentiation to readiness. We could alternate presentation methods. We could target a small group instruction, or also we could change the interest. Teacher presentation designs to students' link interest. Perhaps we could provide some verbal method or visual. We could put the image on the presentation, or we could use the video or audio notes for students who learn better with the repeated listening. And we could also do the differentiation on the process. For the process, perhaps after we do the diagnostic test, we could determine that students need to do mini workshops, or they need to have flexible use of time, or perhaps they could also do the discussion with expert groups. And as the learning profile, students could use the blogs or vlogs to share the ideas. Students could freely choose what they need, what they want to do. And the last is the differentiation of the product. Here, a teacher could use varied format for expressing key content, varied working arrangement, and for varied modes of expressive learning. And now, perhaps that's all for me. And thank you for all of your attention. Thank you for having me. And you may please contact me here. There's my email. And if you want to tag me, please feel free to share the screenshot or the insights from my session and tag my account in Instagram here. And please visit my blog at www.nurlianadewi.com. And that's all for now. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. And here I'll give it back to the moderator.
Saya penjual batik. Awalnya saya nggak pernah nyimpan uang di bank. Semua keuntungan saya simpan di toko. Kalau di rumah ya saya simpan di bawah bantal. Semenjak kena kebakaran, uang saya hangus semua sampai ludes. Habis. Semenjak itu saya sadar saya harus nabung di bank, nyimpen uang di bank. Ya, biar aman dan tentram. Ya, pastinya bank kita ya harus ada yang jamin, ya toh?
Simpanan Anda di bank dijamin hingga 2 miliar rupiah.
Nama saya Ibeng. Dulunya saya karyawan. Tapi kena PHK. Kok ya nggak kepikiran buat nabung. Nggak tahu kenapa males. Saya coba usaha angkringan. Alhamdulillah rame. Dari hasil usaha angkringan ini, keuntungannya terus saya tabung. Tapi nabung juga nggak sembarangan, harus di bank, kan ada yang jamin.
Simpanan Anda di bank dijamin hingga 2 miliar rupiah.
All right, now we arrive at the question and answer session, but I want to read here first from participant, Mr. Rudy. He said that he gave response to Ms. Randha's presentation, and he said that differentiation is a philosophy. That's a really good insight that he has taken away from your presentation. I do agree with that. It's not about the best practice or you should teach like this or you should teach like that, right, Ms. Randha? It's about the teacher's mindset on how to respond to the uniqueness of their students. All right, now let me read questions that I have here. The first one is from Ms. Patricia to Mr. Adlan. She wants to know more on the practical ways to do asynchronous learning. You have mentioned about the podcast, the ebook, the YouTube, and also having the speaker maybe in your class where students can listen to the native Japanese speaker. But maybe you have some more to that. And also Ms. Patricia is asking, maybe you can understand this question better. How many scaffolding talk in Japanese language? Does it mean that is it the level? All right, Mr. Adlan.
Okay, thank you, Bu Dewi. First, asynchronized. So teachers online, students offline, teachers online, whatsoever. So first, what did I do is I give them materials. Well, according to their what they like. So I give YouTubes, I give text, I give audios, so they could choose which maybe from 10 they choose 5 or 6. So then they learn at their own pace. They learn when they want and what they want. Okay, so next, why I use iOS, Apple? First, because I am an Apple user. So I use iPhone and I have iPads. So I use Apple's environment. But what I realized is non iOS users, they don't have the mobility. So with iPad, I could bring my iPad with no wire around the class and snap or put display whatever they have on the screen without any wire. And when I give courses to teachers or whatsoever, it's very easy for us to monitor the audience. Okay, so that's with the help of Apple TV. So, and the last question, how many scaffolding? So, my style of teaching is you learn now, you do not become expert now. You learn through progress. And now you learn, tomorrow you forget. Then you learn again and relearn and re-forget and relearn. Then your foundation will be enhanced. So the process does not have numbers. It is according to specific students and varies among the students. Okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, I do agree that when you're using Apple, you have all the benefits, but it doesn't mean that we need to use Apple, right? Well, Apple is not the sponsor of this sessions, but yes, Android also, I think, have a lot of functions that we can use in classroom with our students. The key is to have an agreement, I guess, and have our students to understand the tools that we are using together in class. All right. So another questions here for Miss Randha. Miss Patricia asking you about, let's say in class you have many students, 20 or 30, and if you want to know each of the students personally with their unique talent, with their unique strength, how can, or based on your experience, how can you get them to have an individual goal, and how can you drive them using this differentiated instruction to help them to be successful in their learning?
All right. So for the prayer of the semester, I used like to do the memletic test that I have shown before. That is the test provide the information, the preferences for students' learning style. It could be the verbal, visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learning styles. So after I determine what learning style my student preferred, in the every meeting I do the prior assessment to tune the material. So I could know the readiness of the students, and I could adjust the materials and right readability levels, and I could also alternate the presentation methods, and I could also target a small group instruction, and for to provide the learning profile. In my presentation, I usually put a few images and highlighted text to help the to help student with visual learning style, and also I have provide some link to video or audio notes so that they could the students with the auditory learning style could work better, and perhaps for the practical and kinesthetic I could use the more ice breaking for the and the movement. And not only that, I could also differentiate in the process. Perhaps I could ask them to do the mini workshops, or could ask them uh, to choose a working condition. Perhaps they want to do the tasks alone, or to do it with a partner, and also the tasks designed around the intelligent preferences. And I could also provide the blogs and vlogs to so that my students could share ideas. Yeah, sometimes I would like to differentiate, to emphasize and to help my students learn better and get the goals individually.
I see. Thank you, Ms. Randa. I really can see the connection on how understanding the student's personality or the student's uniqueness and using the technology can actually be used anytime, right? Either we are learning Japanese, or either we are doing differentiated learning in class in any subject. So technology and then understanding our students is really the key, right? So, and then with that, we can plan our lesson and our lesson to be able to use the context properly. That way, the students can learn better. Such an interesting sessions that we have this afternoon. We still have quite like 3 more minutes maybe before I need to end this session. Is there any other insights maybe, Pak Adlan, Mr. Adlan and Ms. Randha?
So just closing remarks. We teachers, we learn and we continue to learn. We see which one, we search for something better for our students. So never stop learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adlan. Ms. Randha, any closing remarks from you?
All right, from me is maybe for all the teachers attending this session, I wish that you could produce not only one size fits all education system for your classroom. You could differentiate your instruction to regarding to the learning style of the students. And after this session, I wish you could improve your classroom management.
Thank you so much, Ms. Randha. This afternoon, almost evening, we have learned a lot from Mr. Adlan and Ms. Randha. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your expertise. I'm very sure that this will help us a lot here, teachers in Indonesia and everywhere, I guess. Also to implement the curriculum Merdeka that we have been starting in Indonesia. Thank you so much, and then I will see you again maybe in another events in this conference. Thank you.
Dengan pengumuman ini, maka pengurus bank diminta agar tidak meninggalkan Indonesia guna penyelesaian likuidasi.
Pada tahun 1997 hingga 1998, badai krisis moneter dan perbankan menghantam Indonesia. Masyarakat berbondong-bondong antri di bank dan ATM untuk menarik dana mereka.
Presiden meminta Menteri Keuangan sama Gubernur BI untuk mengambil langkah-langkah menghadapi permasalahan ini di perbankan. Bank yang sudah tidak bisa ditolong tutup aja. Bank yang masih bisa diselamatkan, ya apakah harus merger atau langkah-langkah lain supaya dibantu. Nah itu nanti bulan November itu dicabut izin 16 bank.
Kekacauan terjadi di mana-mana. Situasi chaos ini disebabkan hilangnya kepercayaan dari masyarakat terhadap perbankan. Nasbank saat itu kolaps.
Wah, ini bagaimana uang saya hilang. Bayangkan kalau orang waktu itu uangnya ratusan juta aja udah besar sekali. Sehingga bulan Desember itu ada surat dari Mensesnek ya, kepada BI dan Menteri Keuangan untuk membantu, eksplisit disebutkan, keluarkan BLBI, bantuan likuiditas Bank Indonesia. Itu Desember itu.
Berdasarkan pengalaman pahit atas tumbangnya 16 bank, Undang-Undang Nomor 10 tahun 1998 tentang perbankan dikeluarkan.
Saya melihat BPPN itu selalu babak belur berhadapan kalau diadu dengan Undang-Undang KUH Perdata. Saya kemudian bilang, saya mau untuk membangun LPS itu dengan undang-undang. Nggak mau saya dengan PP.
Pada 22 September 2004, Undang-Undang Republik Indonesia Nomor 24 tentang lembaga penjamin simpanan disahkan. Berdasarkan undang-undang ini, LPS merupakan lembaga independen yang berfungsi menjamin simpanan nasabah penyimpan. Lembaga ini pun turut aktif dalam memelihara stabilitas sistem perbankan sesuai dengan kewenangannya. Setahun kemudian, tepatnya pada 22 September 2005, LPS resmi beroperasi.
Negara-negara lain juga masih mengalami krisis ya. Di Australia, perbankan juga, kemudian di Singapura, Malaysia, Hong Kong. Tapi terus terang waktu kita mendirikan LPS, kita banyak mengadap model dari inilah Kanada gitu ya. Karena memang itu model yang cukup bagus lah itu diambil gitu ya, mengenai lembaga penjamin simpanan. Jadi waktu itu memang pemerintah tuh sudah menyiapkan ya kan undang-undang LPS. Saya ingat waktu saya di asuransian di Kementerian Keuangan, tugas saya memang selain katakanlah melakukan pengawasan, juga tugas lainnya adalah diminta menyiapkan undang-undang LPS.
Major financial institutions have teetered on the edge of collapse, and some have failed.
Krisis keuangan yang berawal di Amerika Serikat pada tahun 2007, dampaknya mulai dirasakan ke seluruh dunia, termasuk negara-negara berkembang pada tahun 2008. Di Indonesia, imbas krisis keuangan tersebut mulai terasa terutama menjelang akhir 2008. Dampak krisis keuangan global yang paling terasa adalah ketatnya likuiditas di pasar uang antar bank, penurunan harga saham yang tajam, potensi meningkatnya kredit bermasalah, serta derasnya aliran modal keluar yang menekan nilai tukar rupiah. LPS pun memasuki babak baru dalam pelaksanaan fungsinya, yaitu untuk menyehatkan kembali PT Bank Senturi Tbk. Upaya yang ditempuh nyatanya berbuah manis. Bank Senturi keluar dari status dalam pengawasan khusus oleh Bank Indonesia pada 11 Agustus 2009. Kinerja keuangan PT Bank Senturi pun terus diperbaiki hingga memenuhi ketentuan tentang kesehatan bank. Pada akhirnya, sejak 3 Oktober 2009, Bank Senturi secara resmi berganti nama menjadi PT Bank Mutiara Tbk.
Pada tahun 2014, bulan November 20, kita lakukan RUPSLB, penjualan pengalihan saham dari LPS kepada pemenang, yaitu G-Trust dari Jepang. Ya. Perusahaan yang juga bergerak di bidang keuangan, yang mempunyai aktivitas investasi keuangan di luar Jepang, yang telah juga dinyatakan oleh OJK lulus dalam fit and proper test. Harga yang disepakati 4,4 triliun, ekuivalen dengan recovery rate 55%, ekuivalen dengan price to book ratio yang 3,2 kali. Ya. Jumlah ini 3,2 kali jauh di atas rata-rata price to book value dari jual beli perbankan di Indonesia yang 2 kali. Ya. Perlu kami sampaikan bahwa indemnity tidak diberikan oleh LPS. Kita menjual bank apa adanya tanpa mengambil, mengakseptasi risiko-risiko yang muncul di kemudian hari.
Dalam perjalanannya, DPR dan pemerintah mengesahkan Undang-Undang Pencegahan dan Penanganan Krisis Sistem Keuangan atau PKSK. Undang-undang ini memberikan mandat baru bagi LPS, terutama dalam penanganan krisis keuangan. Sidang Paripurna Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat pun menyetujui pengesahan Undang-Undang PPKSK secara aklamasi pada 17 Maret 2016 dan diundangkan pada 15 April 2016. Undang-Undang PPKSK juga memberikan kesempatan kepada LPS untuk masuk lebih awal ke dalam bank sistemik yang mengalami permasalahan solvabilitas. Langkah ini tentunya untuk menentukan resolusi penyiasatan yang tepat.
PPKSK, peranan dan tantangan LPS menjadi semakin besar. Kalau pada saat yang lalu adalah betul-betul menjaga dan memberikan jaminan bagi simpanan masyarakat di perbankan, peranan LPS sekarang meningkat menjadi pelaksana program restrukturisasi perbankan.
LPS juga memperoleh metode baru dalam penanganan bank sistemik seperti halnya pengalihan sebagian atau seluruh aset dan kewajiban kepada bank lain atau disebut juga purchase and assumption. Kemudian LPS dapat melakukan metode penggunaan bank perantara untuk menerima pengalihan sebagian atau seluruh aset dan kewajiban dari bank sistemik tersebut, serta penyertaan modal sementara yang telah diatur dalam Undang-Undang LPS. Undang-Undang PPKSK juga memberikan mandat kepada LPS untuk melaksanakan program restrukturisasi perbankan atau PRP dalam kondisi tertentu, seperti krisis sistem keuangan dan permasalahan sektor perbankan yang membahayakan perekonomian nasional.
Di dalam proses yang paling terakhir khususnya, itu perlu ada penguatan. Disinilah peran LPS, tugas dan wewenang LPS tidak lagi hanya sekedar menjamin simpanan masyarakat, tetapi juga memperkuat proses penanganan bank. Dan di dalam Undang-Undang PPKSK ini, tugas dan kewenangan LPS itu menjadi lebih luas dari sebelumnya hanya Paybox Plus menjadi juga sebagai otoritas di bidang resolusi bank.
Perkembangan sektor perbankan yang dinamis seiring dengan adanya kebutuhan internal membuat LPS melaksanakan program transformasi dengan latar belakang Undang-Undang PPKSK. Program ini diawali dengan perubahan visi dan misi LPS. Visi LPS adalah menjadi lembaga yang terdepan, terpercaya, dan diakui di tingkat nasional dan internasional dalam menjamin simpanan nasabah dan melaksanakan resolusi bank untuk mendorong dan memelihara stabilitas sistem keuangan. Sedangkan misi LPS adalah berkomitmen untuk menyelenggarakan penjamin simpanan yang efektif dalam rangka melindungi nasabah, melaksanakan resolusi bank yang efektif dan efisien, melaksanakan penanganan krisis melalui restrukturisasi bank yang efektif dan efisien, dan berperan aktif dalam mendorong dan memelihara stabilitas sistem keuangan nasional. Berdasarkan data per Agustus 2021, jumlah rekening simpanan yang dijamin LPS telah mencapai di atas target, yaitu 99,92% atau lebih dari 360 juta rekening. Angka ini melebihi target yang ditetapkan Undang-Undang LPS sebesar 90%.
Jadi sekarang saya tidak takut lagi buat nabung di bank yang lain dikarenakan ada penjamin yang namanya LPS.
Saya merasa senang. Ternyata itu benar-benar LPS itu menjaminnya 100%.
Alhamdulillah itu udah ada info dari bank, di bank itu sudah ditangani oleh LPS. Saya senang lah. Terima kasih kepada LPS.
LPS yang menjamin uang kita. Terima kasih LPS.
LPS bersama anggota KSSK yakni Kementerian Keuangan, Bank Indonesia, dan OJK melakukan koordinasi dan komunikasi secara intensif demi terciptanya sinergi kebijakan untuk menjaga stabilitas keuangan dalam rangka mendorong pemulihan ekonomi nasional.
Di usia 16 tahun ini, LPS berkomitmen untuk terus berinovasi dan memperbaiki diri, karena kami sadar amanah yang diberikan dan tantangan yang kami hadapi semakin berat. Kami berkomitmen untuk menjaga kepercayaan nasabah perbankan melalui program penjaminan simpanan dan resolusi bank. Pada kesempatan ini, Izinkan saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada seluruh masyarakat Indonesia atas dukungannya kepada LPS. Kami juga mengapresiasi pemerintah, DPR RI, regulator, dan industri perbankan yang telah bekerja keras bahu-membahu dalam menjaga stabilitas sistem keuangan dan mendorong perekonomian nasional.